Material cause, everything has got as a material cause this Brahman only, this Satchidatman only. But clay doesn't undergo any change at all, neither in its physical nor in its chemical composition. Only thing is, different shapes are made out of that. You call one as a jar, you call the other as a glass, and the third one, you may call it as a bigger tank or a jar like, so jar, cup, pot. You make several shapes. Similarly, hatake katakadivati, there are gold or scarce. So the gold doesn't undergo any change at all, neither physically nor chemically. Only thing is, with the same gold, by chiseling out some unwanted portions, a shape has been made. One shape, such shape is called the necklace. Another such shape is called the bracelet. Another such shape is called the anklet, etc. They are all various ornaments. Nothing has been added, nothing has been detracted. The gold has not undergone a change. The forms are only imaginary. The names and forms are imaginary. The name has been given by us. For one shape, we ourselves give the name as necklace. For another shape, we give the name as a bracelet. So, they are all simple words. But in the ultimate truth, it is all gold. In the same way, Satchidatmani anusyute sati, when this self, who is of the form of being, consciousness, when he is completely following in everything, he is there along with any item, he is interwoven in the fabric of every object of the world. That is anusyuta, he is interwoven in it. So you can't separate him, he is very much the cause. You can't separate the clay from the pot, then what is left? Nothing. It will be zero. So, and he doesn't undergo any change at all. Nitye, he is eternal. Shat vikara rahite. He doesn't have any of those 6 changes. The 6 changes are, it is born, it is, it grows, it decays, it is converted or transformed or transmuted into something else, or finally it dies. These are called the Shad Vikaras, the 6 types of changes which are common. And the Brahman or the Atman doesn't have any of these 6 types of change. So, these have all been imagined in the Brahman. So it is only the Brahman. Some of the imagination has come and we have imagined the multiplicity of things, plurality of things, the animals, the various types of reptiles, various types of men, various types of beings, and even among the plants, various things like flowers, leaves, various types of flowers, various types. So everything is in plurality, multiplicity, so these have been imagined. And as such, we have got vividhaha vyaktayaha. We get the individual soul. There is nothing called individual soul at all. All these individual souls like Mr. X, Mr. Y and Mr. Z, they are all imaginations in that Supreme Brahman. Just as when you slept, you imagine that you were in an African forest, there were 200 elephants and about 30 to 40 hunters were around you. So where were they all? Where should the hunters have come? Who contained so many humans? But then they were all imagined on the dreamer. So similarly here, they were all imagined. One of our audience, one of those audience sometimes, they used to put a question to me here. After the class was over live. The question was, Sir Soki, That illusion has come, as you say, with the special power of the Lord called Maya. Why should at all the Lord, who was quite happy as single, why should he want to multiply himself and want to become many people in the world, and thus in the course of it put us people into hardships and sufferings as the actors in his drama? He could have spared us this trouble. So what was it that motivated that Supreme Being to objectify himself into this multiplicity of objects? This is a question. It is a $1 million question which has never been properly answered at all. Well, each one has tried to answer it in some casual way. You ask the devotees, the bhaktas, and they will say it's all the play of the Lord. They call it Leela. It's the play of the Lord. Somebody says, well, that is the destiny like that. So, there is no proper answer. This has been discussed by Gaudapada, one of the most famous philosophers of yore, in his commentary called a Karika on Mandukya Upanishad. There, he gives in 5 or 6 shlokas what are all the explanations given by others. Somebody says it's all time, somebody says it is destiny, somebody says it is only his own composition, it's a drama which he has written. So why should he do it? What made him do it? You see, we say on the one hand that Atma is perfect. A perfection which has got everything in itself, only we are all imperfect. Somebody feels that he has got lack of money. Somebody feels he has got lack of education. Somebody feels he has got lack of children. But then the Lord doesn't lack him anything. He is Purna. And why should he at all then go in for such a petty desire which put us all into such trouble? Finally he says, Devatyesha Subhavoyam. This is something which is natural to that Supreme Being. This TV business is going on in him, that lakhs and millions of TVs containing one of myself, one of Atal Bihari Vajpayee, one of Advaitin, one of Clinton, and one of Queen Elizabeth. They're all going on simultaneously, and he's looking at them, the cosmic being is looking at them, and we all happen to be the actors in those dramas which come in his TVs, which he is enjoying. That's all. So he says, it is his nature. Naturally it is taking place in his body, like the various TVs, and that's all. He never intended it. It is his nature, that's all. Nothing else. So, we come to and then we come to number 10. Yatha kasho prishikesho nanopadigato vibhu tadbhedat bhinna badbhati tannashe kevalo bhavet. All the various analogies, similes, which are given in this book, they are all standard similes which you will find in all the 1,000 books of Vedanta which the people have covered. Shankara has himself written hundreds of such texts. One is called Upadesha Sahatri. He has done 1,000 hymns. This only contains about 60. He has written 1,000. That 1,000, you will find the sum of it will be the same 63. And he has written what is called Shatashloki. He has written 100 hymns on these things. That also contains exactly the similar points. And the same similes and the same types of analogies have been used in all of them. So once we get through this book, you may take it that you will have quite sufficient knowledge to display your Vedanta. Yathakasho hrishikesho nanopadi gato vibhu tadbhedat bhinna badbhati Kannashe kevalo bhavet. Here he is going to give you an analogy of akasa or space. See, here he is not going to tell anything new. Whatever is told in the previous sloka, that the God doesn't separately create a world. All these worlds, their creations, their dissolutions, they are all only illusions which are happening in the dream of the cosmic being, that's all. And we are those actors. Just as during your dream, you saw ever so many people and each one was real. Somebody was talking to you, somebody was running away from you, somebody was trying to get into a running train. So they were all quite real. Similarly now, whatever is happening, it is quite real to you, but they are all the cosmic dreams. And we are those dream figures. Just as all the dream figures were that of the dreamer only. They were all the thought forms of the dreamer which objectified themselves into the dream objects. In the similar way, the cosmic being has objectified itself into so many forms, and none of us is less than the Brahman, less than the Supreme Being. Each one is the Supreme Being, even though due to the illusion in the drama, each one is considering himself a different role. Somebody thinks I am a doctor, somebody thinks I am a graduate without a job, and somebody thinks that I am an engineer, somebody thinks that I am a I am a chemist. So they could imagine various ways, but the ultimate truth remains that every one of us represents the ultimate truth, the only reality, that is the formless Supreme Being, which is all conscious. Now, he is going to give a traditional example of space. What happens is, to make people understand, see what happens is, the entire concept happens to be very, very abstruse like. And you can't easily find a full analogy. So, you can only get a partial analogy from here and there to make certain points. Don't apply them in full. In other words, if somebody says, oh that man, oh don't go near a man, he's a tiger. So it doesn't mean that the man who is sitting is having the form of a tiger with a claws and with a fur on his body and with stripes on his body. Not at all. He is looking like you and me. When you say he is a tiger, the analogy touches only one aspect which is common to both. That is his fierce nature by which he jumps over people who goes and encourages him for something. That's all. So this is what is called the partial analogy. The idea is to make up the particular point only. So in a similar way, we have got several concepts with various examples to prove the relation between the world, the individual souls, and the Supreme Lord. One of them is called avachedavada, the concept of limitation, where this akasha plays a part. That is, in this concept, what we think of is, there was only the entire space was there. Supposing nothing has been built, not a single item is there, no mind, no shrub, no equipment, nothing at all. It is bereft of everything, no animals, no plants. Then what will be there? The infinite space alone will be there. Now in that infinite space, you build several houses. So that each house has occupied a space, so the space has been confined inside the wall. Inside the walls of the house. The walls of the house has separated that unbroken infinite space into the various houses, and now we say this is the space of room number 1, this is the space of room number 2, this is the space of house number 4, like that you have divided them. Actually, can you ever divide space? It's not possible. It is only an imagined division. And tomorrow, if there is a big cyclone as has happened in Odisha, and if all the buildings which are now built, if they were to crumble down and no walls used to remain, then what happened to that space which was confined within the four walls of each house? It just merges in that infinite akasha, in that infinite. Does it mean it was separated as now gone and merged? No. There was no separate space inside this room at all. It is all that one space. You cannot say that there is a space of room number 2, there is a space of room number 3. As I had once told you, in the people who study the MBA, they are normally given a question which is normally used like a koan in the Zen Buddhism. That is, somebody was having a small container, say a jar, a pot. That pot was here. Now I am carrying this pot from here to the other shrine. Now, the pot which was there, it contained some space. The pot which I now carried there, it also contains some space. Did I carry the same space which was here, there also, or is it a different space and this was originally a different space? This is a question. I hope you understand the question. Somebody is carrying a jar, an open jar. The jar contains a space. So from here when you are carried to the other shrine, now what is the space which it contains? Is it the same old space which was here? Then when it has been removed, has it become vacant here? Then what happened to the space which was already there? So I leave this koan to be solved by you. Yathakasho Krishikesho. So in this Paramacharya, it only tells you how there was no division at all. There was only one consciousness. There was a supreme consciousness everywhere which is all pervasive. In that supreme consciousness, you built some imaginary houses. One house was called Shantananda. Another house was called Mr. Natarajan. And the third house was called Mr. Ramaswamy. So there were 3 houses. So naturally, this supreme consciousness which is just like this space, it has been, a portion of it is confined in me, a portion of it is confined in Mr. Natarajan, a portion of it is confined in him. It is just like that. See, the space and consciousness is no different. According to the quantum physics of today, they have said, in fact I think this is Heisenberg who has declared, he says, space is consciousness. This is very clearly, these are the terms he has used. The entire space is consciousness, that is all. There is nothing else called space at all. In other words, every drop in this space is consciousness and nothing more. Only thing is it is unmanifested, which we are unable to see openly. Well, I do not know the scientific grounds on which you have come to that conclusion. I think it's only the scientists will be able to say. But I only saw this much as it was written by him in his conclusion. So, now the same superconsciousness was one which had no parts. Remember, it had no parts. It was akhanda. Akhanda means it is an unbroken whole. You can't divide it. You can't divide that space. You can't divide the consciousness. And a little has gone into each. Now, if this body is tomorrow to die, then what happens to that consciousness which is inside? And now you should know, according to the normal laws of physics, if somewhere the quantum was less, somewhere the quantum was more, they call it the potential, and the electricity flows from the place where too much is there to the place where it is less, it flows down because of the potential. Similarly, water, wherever there is a higher pressure, and if you keep a balti here at a lower pressure and you connect it with the tube, automatically the water flows from the higher pressure to the lower pressure. But here this consciousness, there is no question of lesser density or higher density. It is all equally distributed. There is only one consciousness which is equally distributed. So where will it go? Where will it come from? The question doesn't arise. It has always been the Brahman. So what you think as Shantananda, what you think as Natarajan, because when once you have enclosed it with the walls of this flesh, you think that it is a separate consciousness and you give it a name of Mr. Natarajan and Mr. Shantananda. Ultimately, if this body goes, where can it go? It has to merge in that infinite consciousness, that's all. Where is the question? So, does it really merge? Who is going to merge? It was always there. It was always there. As I said, supposing there is a pot here, and the pot is to break, does that space go and then merge into another space? Not at all. It is already part of the space. It is only what you have imagined it was a broken thing. Now it is joining. Neither it was broken nor is it joining. It was what it was. So as such we had always been the Brahman. We never became a Jiva at all. So to think that we were the Jiva, it was only the imagination. This is what is called Avachedavada. Avacheda means that which limits. If the body was not there, I would have been the unlimited consciousness. So this body has come and limited me. It has done this Avacheda, so it is called the Avachedavada. Then there is another concept which is called the Pratibimbavada. Pratibimbavada means the concept of the images. That is, we are unable to understand. There is only one consciousness, you see, but I find different people behaving differently. How then there could be many? How that one became many is a question. For that they give the analogy of an image, the image of the sun or the moon. You see, I am keeping here several jars full of water. One is contained, I have put some color powder in each. One is a blue water, another is a red water, another is a brown water, another is a violet water. I am keeping it outside where the sun is shining. The sun image is falling on each of the ponds. In addition, there are 2-3 ponds. In each pond, you are seeing it. The pond looks green with all its moss, which has accumulated in it for a number of years. Now, are you not already seeing several suns? There is only one sun, but then due to illusion, you are able to see several suns, the images of several suns in the various places. Not only that, all the images are not alike. One is bluish, one is violet in color. And not only that, the quantum of water in the pond, it is moving fast, because from down below there is an artesian well line, the water is coming up and it is always moving. There you find the sun as if it is oscillating, it is moving like. But is the sun oscillating at all? Not at all. So, this is given as another famous standard example in Vedanta to prove another point. But then, the most important one which Shankara evolved, the concept was known as Adhyasa. Adhyasa means the theory of superimposition. What is meant by superimposition? It has been defined by him in his Chinese commentary. That is, Atma Atad vastuni tad bhavaha adhyasa iti. What is meant by atad vastu? Something which is not a serpent, which was only an ordinary rope which was lying down, because of dust, because of the lack of electricity, or because of some defect in your eye, you saw a serpent. You not only saw a serpent, you saw all the characteristics of the serpent. You saw it was 4 feet long, you saw it was curved in various places, you saw its front portion was raised as if, its foot was raised like, and you even saw it doing like this, inviting you perhaps. So you saw all these things. So you saw all the characteristics of something which was not. So, atad vastuni tad bhavaha. An item is there which is not a serpent, and on that to see a serpent, this is what is called the superimposition. Now there is a mind, and I am coming in the darkness, I don't find the mind. I think in this darkness that there is one small monkey cub which is sitting here. So I am afraid to come near it because to me it looks like a monkey cub. So on something which is not a monkey, I am imagining a monkey. This is what is called the superimposition. On something which is not a mortal, on something which is not a jiva, on something which is not limited at all, we are imagining something which is limited, something which is mortal, and you give a name to each. And this is what is called the adhyasa. So in adhyasa what they are going to prove is that this entire world is an imagined illusion. It had never existed in all the 3 times. What do you mean by truth or reality? The reality has been defined as Trikaleshu abhadhitam vastu satyamityujyati. That which could not be cancelled at any time in all the 3 times. Today something may be true. Today they write, the minister said that all Indians are lazy. And then a group of people go and show some black flag. The next day, a denial comes in the paper. It has been wrongly reported. The minister never told it. In fact, he told that all the other countries are lazy except India. So, what remained as truth today has been cancelled tomorrow, and it became an untruth. So, that is not the truth. And so anything which you want it to be real, it should have existed any number of years back. You go back to any extent, it should have remained there at that time. That which is remaining today, and that which will remain for centuries to come, years to come, eras to come, beyond that space which will go, and that is called the only reality. So now, when you saw this serpent, it looked real. But was it real? Because after about an hour when you brought a torch, it was that idea was cancelled and you now saw the rope. But now the point arises, when did this serpent disappear? Can you immediately tell me? When did this disappear? Only when the torch was shown, earlier was it sitting there. It was a non-existing serpent. The serpent was never there at all. So the question never arose. So, when you said, when you found that it is not a serpent, it is a rope, so the serpent was cancelled not at this moment when you are seeing with the torch. It has been cancelled with a very retrospective effect, even from the time you first saw the serpent. Even the first time, so 1 hour back when you saw, at that time itself the serpent was not there. So this cancellation with retrospective effect has got a special terminology in English. It is called sublation. It is called, it was sublated. We don't say it is cancelled. Cancelled means with reference at that time or moment only. Sublated means cancelled with a back day, with a back time. That is called sublation. So now, he says, Yathakasha Hrishikesaha, just like Yatha Hrishikesaha, Vibhu Nanopadhikataha Yatha Akasha. See, what happens is, just as space, even though there is only one space, it looks as if it is broken when various houses are created. And when all those houses have been demolished, then we find there is only one space. There had never been any breaking up of the space at all. In a similar way, Yatha Akasaha, just as in the case of space, Hrishikesaha Vibhu. Vibhu, that all-pervasive supreme being. Vibhu has got two meanings. Vibhu has got one meaning which is everywhere, which is all-pervasive. Its another meaning is Vividaha Bhavati iti Vibhu, the one who has become multiple, the one who has taken thousands of forms and millions of forms. He is also called a Vibhu. Anyway, here we call him the Supreme Master or the Supreme Being. And what sort of a Supreme Being? Hrishikesaha. She is the one who controls all your body, also your indriyas, so he is called the Hrishikesa. Hrishika means the indriyas or the senses, the eyes, the ears, the mind. So all these are being controlled by him. He is the one who is inside and he is keeping them all under his control. So he is called the Hrishikesa. It is the Supreme Being who is having, otherwise, you yourself do not know why you are tempted by a certain thing. So where from the temptation has come, that means somebody has directed those senses to get attracted by something else. So Hrishikesaha represents that Supreme Being. So Vibhu means the all-pervasive Supreme Being. Hrishikesaha means the Supreme Being who is the controller of all the senses. Nanopadhi Gataha. After having come and taken some forms, just like our bodies, after becoming objectified in the form of trees, in the form of animals, in the form of human beings, Nana Upadhi Gataha. Upadhi means the limiting adjuncts like the various bodies. Nana means the various. So, the one Supreme Being, when once he has taken the form of various objects with various limiting adjuncts, namely the mind, the intellect, the body, etc. Nanopadhigata. He is going to explain later on in another 2 or 3 shlokas after that as to what are the various upadhis, what are the types of limitations which the Supreme Being suffers when once it gets objectified as the world. Then Tad-bhedat bhinnavad-bhati. Tad-bhedat. Because it is coming under the influence of various upadhis. Upadhis means the limiting adjuncts. Because of that, bhinnavad-bhati. It looks that as if that one Supreme Being has become many. The one example which all of you know is, there is a sunlight. The pure sunlight is coming to the window. Now here you are keeping a glass prism, a triangular thing, a solid thing, which is called a prism. The prism happens to be the conditioning, limiting adjunct. Otherwise you are coming freely, but you have put in between a limiting adjunct, one upadhi, which is called a prism. When one ray of light is coming through that prism, and when it gets refracted through the prism, because it is coming from a less denser atmosphere into a denser medium. So when it comes into a denser medium, it gets reflected which is called refraction. And once you are able to catch it in a curtain, then you will find it is not one ray of light. That one ray of light has been split up into 7 colors, known as pure, violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, red. So the one has become 7 now. Why? Because of the upadhi. Because something has come in between, so that medium has distorted the image. Not only distorted, it has split the image into 7 parts. And that is what is happening because of the various types of intellects through which this consciousness gets refracted. Each one is born, each body is born along with a particular type of mind. And each type of mind has come with its own conditioning from the previous birth. There is one mind which has got a lot of avarice and greed even from birth, which has been inherited from the past, from its previous birth. There is another one which is full of intelligence, extreme intelligence, like that of Einstein. It has inherited from its previous birth. And there is a third intellect which is perhaps retarded like. It doesn't get reactions at all to external stimuli. So it is dull. So we have got various types of intellects. So when that supreme consciousness comes to this intellect, then you will find one dull man, one very intelligent man like Einstein, and one mediocre man. So like that, tad bhedat bhinnavad bhati. Because these limiting adjuncts, these conditioning adjuncts happen to be different minds, different intellects. Because of that, that one ray of light of consciousness, it is divided into several. One is called Shantananda, another is called Mr. Natarajan, another is called Mr. Y, another is called Richard, another is called Dick. So into millions and millions forms it has been split. But actually there is only one. So this is again only an illusion which comes through a refraction through the various upadhis known as the mind, the intellect, the body, etc. The body has got different constitution. Each body has got different constitution. Each intellect has got different constitution. The texture is different. The structure is different. So accordingly, the personality who comes along with that consciousness, he seems to be a different person. So one becomes an engineer, another becomes a clerk, another becomes a member of parliament. All these things are happening. That bhedat bhinnavad. Then, because the various parts are there, parts are the limiting adjuncts, the same space, it looked as if it has been divided into several parts. It is called ghatakasha. Ghatakasha means the space of part. So part number 1 has got one space, part number 2 has got a different space, part number 3 may be small, big or anything like, it will have a different space. Each one is thinking that I am number 1 ghatakasha. Now the other one is, what's your name? He says, I am the part space number 3. What is your name, please? I am part space number 4. So they are all having various names. But when once by some means the parts are all broken, tan nase. On the destruction of these upadhis, of these limiting adjuncts, like the body, like the intellect, like the wall, like the mud, of the mud part, then what happens? Kevalo bhavi. Then what remains? When the entire part has been destroyed, then there is only one akhanda akasha, there is only one unbroken space, it alone is. Similarly, when all these parts are broken, if all these various intellects and bodies, if they were all to disappear, then what happens? When all these upadhis are lost, supposing I am able to get rid of this body has been imagined by me. So you do an anti-hypnosis. That's all. You do an anti-imagination that I don't have a body. And one day, a day will come when you won't be able to see your body at all. And that is what is known as the meditation. There are various methods. We don't do it that crudely, saying every time that I am not the body alone, because we have to have a different ultimate goal too. If only you would say that I am not the body, then what will happen? Like the Buddha, you may reach a wrong conclusion that it's all a vacuum only. So unless you have a goal, yes, there is some reality behind it. I do not know what it is like, so I would like to know. Keep a goal before you, then ultimately that goal will take you, because that goal, it is not an insentient goal, it's a conscious goal, it's a loving goal, a goal which loves you, a goal which can react to you, so that goal itself will help you to reach it. That's what happens. Tannashe kevalokti. When once you are able to get rid of this upadhi, this sense of the body, the sense of the intellect, by continuously thinking that I am not the body, I am not the intellect, I am not the mind. And finally, when once like that is destroyed once for all, when you reach that stage of no mind, when you reach that Unmanavastha, it is called the stage of no mind. In fact, all our methods, doing japa and all that, they are all supposed to lead finally to a state where no mind exists. When the mind goes away, that means when the prism has been taken away, what remains is only that one ray of sunlight. So, he says, Tannashe kevalo bhavet. Kevalo means that only one, that alone is there. The supreme consciousness alone shines at that time. There will be no body, there will be no intellect, there will be no world. The entire world has been an imagination due to the interference of the various media which are known as the limiting agents like the body, the mind, the intellect, etc.